Ito ang pwede kong ipangtapat sa Battle of Yultong. This is Pinoy Extreme. Let's do this!
This is Pinoy Extreme!
My personal experience in this is what my father told me. He was a second-year cadet at the Philippine Military Academy at the time that the war broke out. Only the third and fourth year cadets of the PMA were enlisted into the regular Philippine Army. The second-year cadets and the freshmen were told to go home.
Pinababa kami lahat sa truck mga bata daw kami. Nung hakakotin na ang sundalo, ikaw baba. Ngayon kasama siya, Deboso. Baba kami, saan kami ngayon pupunta?
Hindi sila pinadala sa Bataan kasi I think there was a policy to preserve the youth or something. So hindi yung mga, they were left behind.
They were considered either too raw or too untrained or too young.
The other ostensible reason they said was there was no firearms for these people, so it was useless. But I think the main reason was these are youngsters, this is the hope of the country, let's preserve them for the future.
So, despite the fact that they did not become official soldiers defending the country, what did they do? The Hunters ROTC was first mustered on January 15, 1942, primarily by some of the first-year cadets of the Philippine Military Academy who were residents of San Juan.
There were 3 PMA cadets of different years. Miguel Ver was actually a member of Class 43, but he was turned back for academic reasons to Class 44. My father was Class 44, and Gustavo Ingles was Class of 45. So you had the class of 43, 44, and 45.
And because of seniority, si Miguel Ver ang kanilang first military commander.
Ang angas boy, the first hunters.
By PMA culture, he was immediately looked upon as the leader because he's the oldest.
Now, of course, the number of cadets in those classes was too small, so later on they opened it to their other colleagues, their friends, who were from different universities and colleges in Metro Manila and ROTC cadets.
They're all young men. They wanted to serve. They look for venues to be able to do so. They invariably end up with our people in San Juan.
We are not studying anymore. Why don't we do something for the country?
Dito mo kasi makikita yung importansya ng ROTC din. Well, for one, you will have the basic knowledge on yung makukuha mo doon sa ROTC, like handling a gun, maybe basic tactics pa. And pinaka-importansya kasi nun is yung heart mo to actually defend your country because you are going to be the reserve forces.
The idea was, since they were not allowed to join the rest of the USAFE, that they would form a second front in what is now Metro Manila to divert some of the attention of the enemy to themselves and thereby relieve the pressure of the Japanese on the defenders of Bataan.
By April 6 of 1942, which was just 4 months later, they had already gone up to the hills.
Punta tayo doon. Una, hindi ko alam yung doon. Hindi ako marunong Tagalog Basta doon. Dito kami napunta. Tuloy kami doon sa likod ng Antipolo.
The first batch was about 70 to 80 young boys with suitcases going up to the hills. But Colonel Ingles said it all when he told me, alam mo, para kami mga bata lang Para kami nagpipiknik lang. We were just parang having fun.
O diba, bata yung mga yan. Literal, mga first and second year colleges. Tapos yung mga kabataan ngayon nagre-reklamo, yo mag-ROTC kasi mainit kasi. They have the different mindset right now. And I don't know, most of them are the ones who's saying ipagtanggol yung teritoryo ng Pilipinas, but they are disadvocating ROTC. And how the hell are you going to defend the country if you're not even equipped with the basic knowledge to be able to do so?
The hunters group started with almost nothing. They had no shoes, they had no bullets, they had no gun, and so they had to find a source for it.
Nag-uusapan, how can we get arms?
Union College was the first target.
Kinuha ang Japanese yung mga arms at saka nilagay doon. Pinaka-sentro ang yung niraid ng mga hunters.
Ang espiya namin doon si Ingles, Gustavo Ingles. Dahil si Tabo mukhang bata batang-bata talaga. Kasi karamihan sa amin, Adibosos, Bicolano, hindi natin Tagalog. Ako, Bisaya, hindi ko rin alam Tagalog. Ang marunong lang, yan si English. Yun lang ang Tagalog.
Ang ganda ng planong ginawa ni Terry dyan. Inisip ni Terry yung how to get there, how to transport them, how to avoid the Japanese sentries na nagmamarka doon sa kalsada. Napasok nila yan.
Ito yung gusto ko sa kanila. Pinupuri nila yung kasama nila. Not out of pambobola, but out of honesty. Which is, para sa akin, bihira ko na makita ngayon sa mga Pilipino, yung pumuri ng kapwa nila for actually being better than them.
As they got in, they began sewing the bars.
Isang pamilya ang gumagwardya, babae at lalaki, mga anak na maliliit pa.
And the person in charge there did not want to let them get the arms. And in fact, he threatened to shout and tell the Japanese, look, they were going to steal our arms.
Dali naman takutin.
And eventually they pacified him. And so that he would not be held responsible, he said, we will tie you up and we will cover your mouth. So it seemed that he was a victim of this. And they did take the firearms out, again, very delicate operation, but this became the nucleus of the firearms of the hunters ROTC.
Ang mga hunters na mali, ang karamihan ay batang-bata. The Japanese will doubt that he can fight. At hindi magkakaroon ng isip na iskunin yung armas. Doon nagkamali ang Japanese.
They would be going to the armories having fake documents with orders na itatransfer yung mga baril. Officer ka, present your documents, orders, transfer yung baril. They kakarga ng mga Hapon. And then there was one anecdote, sabi nga ni Colonel Nobales, namatay yung makina nung sasakyan nila. So yung mga Hapon pa nagtulak para umandar ulit. Filipino ingenuity yan eh. I mean, you just, andyan ang baril, use your brains. Imagine, binibigay sa iyo yung baril. That you're only able to do this because you're so sure of yourself, kaya-kaya mong gawin yan. They felt na we are in control of our country.
Those are the values na nawawala na sa country natin. Yung pagiging ingenious natin. Yung ingenuity natin ngayon, pinupunta na natin sa panlalamang ng kapwa natin. Imbis na ginagamit natin yung ingenuity na yun para umangat sa kalagayan natin ngayon, hindi, gagamitin natin yun para manlamang ng kapwa natin. Yung pagiging resourceful natin nawawala. Na imbis na maging resourceful tayo, eto tayo, nagre-reklamo, nagpapaawa, hindi na gumagawa ng mga bagay na kung saan may magagawa tayo. Parati na lang natin sinisisi yung ibang tao dun sa sitwasyon natin. Sayang, nawawala na yung mga gagandang ugali ng Pilipino. This is Pinoy Extreme, and continue natin yung part 2 sa next episode.